Hello and welcome to Before You Watch, the podcast where we talk about what we've watched this week. It's that casual. This week.
It's just that casual.
It is, it's that casual.
Just that casual.
The's no set schedule.
There's no sex, did you say?
There's no sex.
We don't need to tell him about our personal life then.
There's no set schedule.
It's just that casual.
We're just talking about the TV that we've watched this week. Do you want to know what we've watched?
I'd love to know. What did we watch this week,
Okay,
Ben?
right. We've got Big Mistakes on Netflix. Mm-hmm. That's from creator Dan Levi, who made Schitt's Creek.
Yes.
He's back. Testaments, which is a
Disney Plus and Hulu show.
Disney Plus, which is a spin-off of The Handmaid's Tale.
Yes.
Where they've advertised it. They're like, you don't need to watch The Handmaid's Tale. You can just watch this. And I want to rebuttal that.
Oh.
And also we did Malcolm in the Middle.
Life's Still Unfair.
Well, it's true.
On Disney Plus and Hulu.
After 25 years, they're back.
Yeah, and I like to do a rebuttal on the fact that it kind of gave the impression that it was a full series, but it ended up just being a movie.
Well, that's what Frankie Muniz said. He said this is in 4 parts, but they want you to see it as a movie.
Oh, it's a movie. They should have just made it a TV movie.
They did in 4 parts.
But then make it. You remember when they brought back Arrested Development on Netflix, and it was really awful. They
re-edited it.
So they re-edited it into, because it was, I forget how they did it, but they basically re-edited it into a TV series rather than making it one long feature-length thing. They should have done the reverse of that for Malcolm. But we'll talk about that later, Ben.
We will.
Hello, my name's Alex.
My name's Ben.
And if you like the podcast and you want to help us, you can go to buymeacoffee.com/faithful, and on there you can give us a £5 one-off or monthly donation. And if you want to know more about us or follow us on all the socials, you can go to Buy Me a Coffee. You can do that again. Or you can go to the link tree, linktr.ee/faithful2. And there's got all the links where you can watch or listen to us on YouTube, Spotify, any of your favorite podcast apps. If you are watching us, you can comment underneath the video. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and follow us. And on there, it's also got our details of our Instagram and our TikTok, where we post videos almost on the daily.
Yeah. And Instagram, we post on our stories what we're watching. So if you want a little heads up sometimes, you might see some stuff on there from the view of our sofa in our lounge.
That is true, yeah.
With a cat. So we like to keep things slightly UK-based here if we can. So we have got some UK shows to talk about as well.
Yes, I mean, yes, all the shows we're doing, the big, longer discussions are all American, which is sadly the landscape of it's the landscape of television as it stands. But one program that did come back for its 21st series.
Oh.
21st series.
Already?
I know. It's the key of the door now, Ben. It should have a cake.
It's like America's Next Top Model, isn't it?
Cycle 21.
Yeah, 2 cycles a year.
Hey, you know what? Next one will be XXII. Mm-hmm. Our favourite Next Top Model series.
Maybe Niall.
With Niall. Oh, lovely Niall. Do you know he's still he hasn't aged? Niall from America's Next Top Model. He looks exactly the same.
He won Dancing with the Stars. That's what happens.
He's a good-looking lad.
That's why he won America's Next Top Model.
Well, he won my heart. But Series 21 in the UK of Taskmaster returned. And, it's a juggernaut of a show on Channel 4, originally on Dave. I
always feel sorry for Dave, because they're the ones who did this.
Yeah,
they just let it go. And there was another show that they did as well. Was it Red Dwarf? And then Red
Dwarf brought it back. So the BBC originally did Red Dwarf, and then
there's something else they made that was really popular that left it and went to Channel 4. What was it?
I can't remember, but there was a real cycle of shows from Dave that kept getting sold off to other channels. To be fair, it's made by Avalon, I believe, production company. So it was sold to whoever would bid the highest. But the funny thing is Alex Horne, who created Taskmaster after he did a Edinburgh Fringe show, said that he went to loads of networks with it. And no one would pick it up. No one would touch it. Everyone said, it's a stupid format. No one would get it. And Dave had the confidence to pick it up and do it. And then Channel 4 that's quite good, that. Channel 4 do this all the time. They have history in this because they did it with the Bake Off.
I know. Do you remember how big that news was? Looking back at it, it's so funny now how all the team and the presenters were like, we're staying with the BBC, we're not moving to Channel 4, and everyone, all the fans were like, yeah, Mel and Sue,
but apart from Paul Hollywood, he was like, I'll take the money.
And it was like a thing where it was really hard to get a presenter booked because everyone thought if you accepted the job you were betraying the UK. It was so funny. Thinking back on it now no one cares. Whoever's on it is just on it.
Well, it's run its course, hasn't it? Bake Off. Sorry to any Bake Off fans. I'm sure it's excellent, but I haven't watched it in a very long time, and it went woke. Apparently, I don't know. But yeah, Taskmaster. I mean, the thing I love about Taskmaster for me is that it's just stupid. And although there's a format which is 3 tasks, a live task at the end, and there's the prize task at the beginning, it still feels fresh. It still feels quite like funny to
I know.
watch.
It's still, I don't know how they've done that after so long and so many challenges. It's still like the new series. I wasn't particularly fond when they announced the casting. The casting, it does depend on the casting a lot, and sometimes you can have a preconceived idea of what it's going to be. And it's like Joel Dommett, great. He's great to look at. He presents loads of shows, but he's not fun. Like personally, it's like he's not funny. He's not. Is he a comedian? Apparently he is. But like, like when I was like, oh great, Joel Dommett's on there, and then the woman from Gavin and Stacey who could be slightly irritating. It's like, oh, this isn't going to be great. And I don't know the other ones. But now I've watched it. That's the thing. When you watch it, it's like, oh, actually, all of them are quite good, and it depends how they get on with each other.
The preconceived of what you think of people before they go on the show, it kind of gets smashed with Taskmaster, which is another reason why I like Taskmaster so much. There's
Go in with an open mind.
But you don't, do you? You know, like, a lot of people, I forget the comedian's surname, but Rosie and
Rosie Jones.
And people went for them, and like for having her on the show, and she was brilliant, absolutely brilliant. She was
That was a really good series.
Hilarious, and it was a great series. They've had a really good run the last 2 or 3 series, and I think, as you say, it helps with the cast, but it also helps where the cast get along. And last series, you could tell that everyone loved each other on that show, and it just made for a really good series. And again, I get that feeling this time when they were doing the live task at the end of this episode, the first episode, when they were looking for the oranges. You could tell they were like kids playing a game in the playground. It was so fun to watch. So yes, no doubt I will continue watching Taskmaster. It's got to run out of steam at some point. It has to run out of steam at some point, but it doesn't look like that's coming at any time soon.
She's one of those British comedians. You can't go wrong.
I was going to say, and one American.
Oh yeah.
Do you want me to talk about the elephant in the room as well?
Who's that?
Jane McDonald.
Jane McDonald?
Jane McDonald's back on Channel 5, and she's gone to Nashville to record her latest album. I mean, this is insane.
I know. We watched 2 episodes out. We've already watched episode 1. Sadly, we're a bit behind. But yeah, she was talking about she's making a country album, apparently. Is this the album that's just come out, or is it not out yet?
I think, no, it's the one that's just come out because they played one of the tracks, and I quickly looked straight to number one. Is her first number one? It was her first number one album in a long time. But it's funny because a lot of Jane McDonald shows recently, when she first started doing her loose term travel vlogs, when she
travel documentaries.
Yes, when she won a BAFTA for, incidentally, so I can't mock her. And she used to walk around with cameras tied to her chest and a camera and a stick, and she'd be like, oh hello, and this and that. These new travel documentaries where she did Pole to Pole before this one, now she's doing Nashville. They feel a bit more personal. They feel a bit more like we're learning about Jane McDonald
as a person.
And we learned that she's
not just the destination.
No. It's the journey we're learning now. We're taking the journey of Jane McDonald, and she's always wanted to record an album in Nashville. She's never had the chance. She rang up Channel 5. She rang up Channel 5. They said, "How much is it going to cost?" She said, "I only need 1 day in the studio." She recorded a whole 11-track album in 1 day.
Yeah, I don't get what was going on really. It was all a bit odd, but yeah, apparently she's doing a country album. But the album cover doesn't look like a country album. I didn't know it was a country album until I saw the documentary. And it's like, well, the visuals need to represent what the piece is. But it's number one. Who am I to talk? But yeah, she's having a lovely time in Nashville.
Yeah, it's quite.
Although the food in America doesn't look great. She didn't sell me on that.
Let's not just say food in America generally. Well, America's a big place. In that one cafe in Nashville, it looked a bit... But then again, I think...
And she had to pretend she liked it. And she ate 1 leaf. It's lovely.
And she had that chocolate mud pie and it had chili infused. And she said, it's a bit hot. But she had a lovely time because later on she then went to the Jack Daniel's whiskey distillery and she drank herself silly. So it was fine. It was fine. Yeah. But yeah, no, Jane McDonald is gold. I mean, let's be honest, you're not going there to be educated. It's switch off TV, and but you don't mind because it's Jane McDonald. Anyone outside the UK won't appreciate how much of an icon Jane McDonald is. She in the UK, she is. Is she the new Cilla Black? Would you say?
Yeah, getting there. Yeah, hasn't got the reputation that Cilla Black now has. But
I don't care.
I love that one photo of Cilla Black when she died. That person posted it online, didn't they, of her at the restaurant, just looking angry. Yeah, looking angry because she was sat on someone else's reserved table. And then all the forums opened up with all the
stories.
All the air hostesses said all the stuff. So yeah, all went downhill.
But that's where Jane McDonald isn't like Cilla Black. No, because Jane McDonald's too kind and lovely. And on another one of our podcasts, which we did, which we still do, Race Across the World. It's available now. Come find it. Where we talk about the TV series Race Across the World. We did say that Jane McDonald should be a contestant on that show.
Yeah, with Sue.
With Sue, her friend / recording artist.
She's like Valerie from The Comeback. She's got her hairdresser friend who's always there, cheering her on.
Jane McDonald is Valerie from The Comeback. There you go.
go.
So our friends outside the UK, Jane McDonald is our Valerie.
Right, so TV shows then. We've got Big Mistakes, which is on Netflix. All episodes are out. We've watched 5.
We're halfway, yeah.
5 of the 10, or is there 8? I don't know.
There's 10.
This is Dan Levy's new show. He created Schitt's Creek, which is a brilliant comedy, which is like a near perfect run of all series.
Yeah, series 1 for me, for Schitt's Creek, I can't wait for people to come at me. I thought was a bit shaky.
A lot of people saying that.
Yeah, it was trying to find its ground, but as soon as series 2, it went running. And
that's what I'm trying to remember when I'm watching Big Mistakes as well, because this show. It's not the same as Schitt's Creek. He's in it, and that's about it. That's the only similar thing. And he's obviously he's great at creating family dynamics.
Mm-hmm.
Like the mum is amazing, and the sister's really good. Like all of that's still there. But like this is like got like a darker, rougher edge to it, because it's about like drugs and
it's about gangster. So there's a Russian mafia man who his sister Morgan accidentally on purpose steals a necklace from a post shop, and then they get themselves mixed in with the Russian mafia.
Yeah, and they basically owe them favors. And every episode is kind of like a different favor that they have to sort of do, and it's situations they've put themselves in, and so there's like that comedy bit to it, but there's loads of like bass music trying to make everything tense for a bit, and then it goes back to comedy. So it's all a bit, I don't know, it feels like a bit of a rough series 1 Schitt's Creek feel. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean,
I'm not completely sold on it.
You said that it doesn't have the feel of Schitt's Creek. For me, it's almost an identical feel of Schitt's Creek. Like the mum's a little bit on edge, a little bit like she wants to prove herself, but it kind of there's not much interaction with the mother other than their other sister, so that he's kind of like pushed them to like as a subplot, a B story. While him and his sister, it just reminds me so much of him and his sister when he was in Schitt's Creek, and the hot boyfriend which his sister has, who was the vet in Schitt's Creek. You know what I mean? And so it feels like, for me, it's still got the foundations of Schitt's Creek, but he's kind of like building a different different wall around it.
The bits that I like are the bits that aren't the drug bits. Like the crime, like even though that's the premise of the show, which is why it feels. It's like in series 2, I wouldn't mind if they like got out of this situation and they just show them being.
But then it would literally be Schitt's Creek again.
Yeah, well, I think that would be better,
because that's the thing. They're in a small.
That I enjoy though.
They're in a small town again. They're in a small town again. You know, do you not? For me, it feels like just the sequel to Schitt's Creek. It's almost like the story of an extended family from the family from Schitt's Creek. Is it not? No,
I don't. But the bits that I like that remind me of Schitt's Creek is I want more of that and less of the other stuff. I don't really care about the underworld, the dark underworld. It's like I like the mum storyline of her trying to be a mayor is really fun and interesting, and the bits of like Dan Levy's character and his sister when they're at home are like the funny bits, and it's like then you get distracted by this obstacle they have to do this episode, and it's a bit like, what? Nothing's going to happen because it's a comedy, so it's like I don't really care about the peril.
What Dan Levy does well is that he can write a script where he can write dialogue which is very conversational. It's very good. You would believe it was improvised. It's that good. But it's not improvised.
Schitt's Creek wasn't it? Because of
No, it was scripted, but there was obviously they kind of were allowed to kind of like join in and add their own lines of it. But there was always a strict script. But this is what I mean. Maybe it's just the way that the way Dan Levy is on set with the crew and the cast. Maybe he's got a very open kind of like, if you want to add something, you can. But it feels to me that this is very much plot driven, where it's been every single minute detail has been written in. So the conversations are written, and so I don't know. For me, if he's an excellent writer. He's an excellent writer. And if he gets the right cast together, which I think he has for this, it mixes very well. I mean, I love Laurie Metcalf.
She's
she's
good.
An amazing actress.
And all the things most of the things she does, she's only in like, she like guest stars. And it's like, in this, she's like an actual full-time. It's like, oh, good. I'm glad, because she is really good. All of them are good.
They are good. I don't know. It's weird. It's strange to me that you say that you can't see the Schitt's Creek beginnings in big mistakes because I just can.
I don't know. It's hard to remember Schitt's Creek without remembering all the good, series 2, 3, 4, and 5. It's hard to remember what it was. I remember series 1. A lot of people were a bit iffy on it.
Series 1 was a dodgy series, but again, he didn't really know. It was like he didn't know what direction he wanted to take. But with this, it's clear he knows what story he wants to tell. And I don't know if there ever would be a second series, because for me, it feels like this is one story. And but then that's the whole point of a series, isn't it? You could throw them into another situation. But it's all about, just basically, it's all about human nature. It's all about, the neuroses of how people interact with one another. And that's what Dan Levy does well, how people interact with one another.
The family dynamic.
Yeah, so maybe if he was to lean on more on that, but then I suppose he doesn't want to be this kind of fenced-in writer, does he? He doesn't want to be known as the person who writes.
I think there will
Schitt's
be
Creek.
More for the series, because there was hints in episode 1 that isn't he adopted, and the other two are sisters.
Yes, and that was really dropped in as off comment. It was like, oh, your dad will still love you, because his dad is an ex-police officer, isn't he? Because he's asking him about how the police would deal with gangsters, mobsters, and if they've got people on the inside of the police. And he was like, oh yes, they do. So that kind of ruined his plan of getting the police involved and trying to get himself out of it. But I know I'm enjoying Big Mistakes, actually, and there's some moments where I genuinely laugh out loud at it. But it feels like Schitt's Creek painted in a new color.
Which isn't a bad thing.
But that's not a bad thing. That's not a criticism. I am excited to see the full series. And honestly, I would watch it. Dan Levy's one of those creators where I would watch whatever he does.
You just trust him.
Yeah, I trust that.
Safe pair of hands.
Even his okay shows will be good enough that I can watch the full series of it. But I wouldn't say that Big Mistakes is an okay show. I would say Big Mistakes is a very, very good show.
And it has room to get better. That's what I'll say. It's not bad. It's just I can feel it can be better.
But you just want that. There. You want the family dynamic.
Yeah, more of that, because that's what he's really good at. Episode 1 around the grandmother's deathbed, all of that stuff, all the setting up of the family dynamics was great. And it's this is what he does.
I agree with you there, actually, because I must say, of all the episodes 1 and 2, which was very much the setup for the premise of the rest, was for me the funniest parts.
It's just the episode by episode week, the capers, we have to get a cow or we have to rent a room. It's like well, that just feels a bit meh.
It's interesting how they're all linked together, though. That's the one thing I would say. So there's some that you're slowly learning.
There's a reason.
Yeah, you're slowly seeing that the reason they rented the room, and it's slowly unraveling what their whole purpose is for this grand scheme from the Russian mafia.
We'll keep watching. We'll let everyone know. Right, so the other show that we've been going, a very different vibe.
Yes.
The Testaments, which is the spin-off to The Handmaid's Tale, which ran for 6 series, The Handmaid's Tale? After series 3, it's the next one has to be the final. And then they're like, no, there's another. And then you're like, okay, it was good. I'll keep watching it. But the next one has to be the final. And then they're like, no, there's another. And then it finally finished. And then they're like, guess what? We got a new series. Okay. So yeah, Testaments. Episode 1, 2, and 3 are out at time of recording. That's what we've watched. Based off the book, allegedly, although apparently a lot of fans are saying that this is not based off the book. It is, as The Handmaid's Tale went off in its own direction, this has also gone off in its own direction as well. A different vibe. The filming is different from The Handmaid's Tale. It's a younger cast. It's billed as a coming of age story. And what do you think? I mean, The Handmaid's Tale, I remember when I watched series 1 of Handmaid's Tale, everything felt extreme, terrifying. You felt sick watching it. Watching the Testaments, and you see the people hung and the people dead, and it's just I feel like
I've become immune to it because of the landscape of television. The last 10 years, we've got so much violence and death on TV, and also in real life.
Don't even blink. I'm just yeah, that's Gilead. I know this. It doesn't have that same gut-wrenching feel to it yet, and it's the filming of it's bright and colourful.
But it's still pastel-y, though. Have you not noticed? Even though it's a much lighter filming, it's the colours are still very very faded. So to kind of all show almost a faded government, a faded movement. Maybe I'm not so sure. See, with The Handmaid's Tale series 1 and 2, I couldn't. They clearly stuck very strict to the book. And
Wow,
and you could tell series 1 and 2 it was strict to the book. In fact, to the point where I remember seeing videos where they were showing passages from the book and then they were showing the scenes as it was carrying out. I've not read the Testaments. I've worried that if they're going too far off of it at the beginning, then you're kind of missing the point. But I can't really say that for certain because the Testament, obviously I don't know what's from page and what's been kind of like thought up by the writers. But like you, when the Handmaid's Tale came out, it was genuinely shocking. I mean, this was the first hit. This is what put Hulu on the map, at least outside America. You know, a lot of people didn't even know that there was a streaming service known as Hulu until the Handmaid's Tale came out, and everyone had to watch it. And it was genuinely like disturbing to watch. Like things that would happen, like even just conversations, like where people were trying to be secretive to one another and being very quiet with one another and having secret, hidden conversations, hiding things from one another. It's just really difficult to watch, but you watched it because it was this world that could easily happen, and you watched it because it was because so disturbing. It was
a warning.
It was a warning. Yeah, it was good.
But now we're there.
But we're not there. We're not really there. Let's be honest. But
there's a really good bit in a monologue in episode 3 where the character Becca was sort of saying, you know, we watched this happen. They said this about women openly. They said this about gays openly, and now look where. And you're sitting there thinking, actually, people are literally saying these things right now to us. So.
The thing is, with the Testaments, they didn't need to build the world around them. We already knew that, so there was no need for them to kind of go back into this is what happened, this is why we're in this situation. It was discussed, it was said, it was kind of briefly dropped in, but you know, there's no need for that to kind of like be that world to be grown any bigger anymore. We know that world. The problem for me was that with the Handmaid's Tale, this is what it kind of watered down as the series progressed. And by series 5, there was that really, the series 3 I remember being not so great, and I thought, this is it now. They're reinventing the book. Series 4 was excellent. It was like amazing series. That's when Serena got arrested. There was that excellent scene when they're in the courtroom, and she's talking about all the things that Alfred had done to her. And then series 5 came along, it's fine. Series 6 came along, it ended. You know, it was a bit like, okay, great, I'm glad they've wrapped up the story.
But also, they couldn't properly end it because they knew they had the Testaments coming. Yeah. So it's like, so you kind of felt a bit like, well, they did end it, but also they didn't because there's still things left loose. And then they build the Testaments. It's like, this is a brand new, you don't need to watch The Handmaid's Tale to watch this. And it's like, at the end of episode 1, I'm not going to say what happens, but like you do, I feel like you do need to watch The Handmaid's Tale.
I think even if you've kind of watched, even if you've kind of only seen clips on TikTok or something like that, you kind of got the link there. And to be fair, it only explains that later on in the series. Like in episode 3, it explains why you saw what you saw in episode 1.
Yeah,
I think me trying to be clever, not saying spoilers. But here lies, as you just said, here lies the problem. Did they kind of ruin The Handmaid's Tale by knowingly producing the Testaments? Was the Testaments really necessary? And for me, I say yes, because it's a different story. It's a
different point of view as well, isn't it?
It's a point of view of someone who lived in Gilead. They're pretty much knowing life, not their whole life, because we know that Agnes?
Agnes is the main one, yeah.
Yeah, she is the. Is this a spoiler if I say this?
I don't know.
It's literally revealed in episode 1, isn't it?
What?
Okay, we'll skip 15 seconds. Agnes is the daughter of Alfred before Alfred got taken in.
Well, I don't know. That's not confirmed.
Well, that's what I presume, okay? So that's what I'm guessing. And so Daisy, who's
I think that's what they want you to think. So maybe it is true. But that's the thing where people are saying this has gone off the books. So I don't know what happens in the books. I just get bits and pieces. But I just know that things that you think from the books isn't quite what is going on. I don't know.
But I like the coming of age story. That part I do enjoy. I like when there's the moment when they're taking a trip and the bus gets attacked by Mayday and they're all hiding in the shop. But then later on, the girl, you know, these are teenage girls, but they've not had the same kind of teenage girl life the new magazine in shops now, that kids have today. And so one of the girls had seen a man's tummy and it had hair on it, and they were like, "Oh God, I can't believe! Oh, that's disgusting." And Daisy, who's a Pearl, so basically someone who's been introduced to Alfred on her own decision because she doesn't like, she believes in the values of Gilead. She says, "Oh yeah, I'm before I became a Pearl, I had I've seen lots of men's bodies on the beach, and lots of men have hairy bodies," and they're all like, "Oh," and they're giggling, and it's like so it's like they're trying to grow up. They're growing up in this world where they're not allowed to they're almost not allowed to grow up. They're instructed that they get married, they have children, so they're no better really than handmaids, but apart from they have more privilege, slightly more privilege.
And they're allowed to do, from the end of Handmaid's Tale, they're allowed before they weren't allowed, females weren't allowed to read, were they? And that slightly changed.
No,
now.
she said again in episode 1. She said if you read, I forget what it was exactly, but you're not allowed a calendar. And if you're as much as look at a calendar, you'll have your fingers chopped off. And if you read and something like that. But what baffles me is that a lot of the publicity for this series was around, this is a series all about Aunt Lydia. This is the story of Aunt Lydia and how she is conquering against Gilead in her own way. So far, I think I've seen 2 scenes with Aunt Lydia.
I know,
and
she's
really
hardly
odd.
been in it. And she wasn't in the last series of Handmaid's Tale very much. They hinted that she had an illness because she was shaking and stuff, but then they didn't really go into it. And it's okay, because of the testaments, that's why they didn't. But then she hasn't appeared much in this one either. But I know in the book, the testaments, isn't it written from Aunt Lydia's
point of view?
Diary entries? I'm not sure. I know that Aunt Lydia features in it, so...
But they had that big statue. They talk about how Aunt Lydia is some kind of saint, and she says in episode 1, she says, most people are given an effigy when they're dead, but I get one when I'm alive. So she's clearly done something, some kind of influence. And she's always had an influence, but she's always been put in her place when she's gone a step too far. But something here's happened, which I am looking forward to finding out, because I love the character of Aunt Lydia. I really do. But at the moment, it just feels like it's painted as I think it's a deliberate choice because they're trying to get a young audience in, which is also a reason why maybe it's a lot softer. It's not so violent.
I do wonder if, because the point of view is from Agnes, who's grown up here. And I think that's why it's bright and colourful, because that's how she sees the world. I'm wondering if as the series goes on and we change, I don't know if the direction will also
It's interesting.
change.
So the cinematography. So and again, in The Handmaid's Tale, we saw Alfred, she was living in this doomed life.
Yeah.
And so everything was dark, everything was misery, everything was, bad. Agnes at the moment, she's not seen that. She's only seen this kind of, she's been given a quite privileged life. She had a commander.
Because Elizabeth Moss is doing the directing. So she directed some of Handmaid's Tale, and she's covering this series too. So it's obvious, it's not like this is just her style. She's done the dark stuff before as well. So it must be an obvious a choice that they've done on purpose. I think maybe we'll see.
I just said The Handmaid's Tale ended badly. I did enjoy The Handmaid's Tale a lot. I have to say, I think series 1 and 2 were the pinnacle of top class drama.
It gets to a point where you just want the end of the story. Though. It's I'm ready now to just end it.
It felt like it was unnecessarily stretched out, and it's obviously a revolution doesn't happen overnight, and the whole point was this May Day, where this is The Handmaid's Tale.
Plus they had COVID, and then they had the writer's strike, and then Elizabeth Moss was pregnant. They had loads of things in the last 2-3 series where it really extended the time frame of making the show. So maybe they can get it down to 1 a year from now on. I mean, Elizabeth Moss, she's dedicated, if anything.
She is.
She's always there. She's always there.
Turns up like a rash. She does.
She loves it. So the last show that we're going to talk about is The Return of Malcolm in the Middle, which is 4 episodes
on Disney Plus and Hulu.
It's being billed as not a reboot, just a special. So
good, because if it was a reboot, it wouldn't work. I'm telling you that right now.
Yes, it would.
No, it wouldn't.
I could have enjoyed more of this, and I liked all the new additions.
No, it was the right amount. It was the right amount, just right, in fact. It was 2 hours long if you put it together and made it a film, which they should have. And it was...
But they spent so much time focusing on Malcolm's daughter.
What's wrong with that?
Nothing wrong with it, but it felt like they were setting up a series for her, no? Like they spent so much time in her school with her friends, and you know what I mean?
But it was interesting that they made her she talked to the camera just like Malcolm, just
Yeah.
like her dad. So
I
it was
liked that.
interesting that they did that part. But then if they were going to do something, that sounds to me a bit like when they rebooted Boy Meets World and they did Girl Meets World. Do you know what I mean? So it feels like it should change its name from Malcolm in the Middle. What's his daughter's name? I forget.
I don't know. Ellie, was it?
Ellie, yeah.
I don't know.
And so they should, but then she's not the middle child, so that doesn't make sense either. Do you know what I mean? So it's a bit.
Well, he's not the middle child anymore either.
Well, no, that's true. But when the series started, he was the middle child. But
I have no idea what her name. There's so many people in this series, these 4 episodes. There's so many because you have the 6 kids already. You have the mum and dad, and then all the kids now have their own kind of life. So it's just like there's a lot to fit in 4 episodes.
I actually adored that they shoehorned as many Easter eggs of cast as they could. I actually really did like that, and it seemed like it clearly was a happy show to work on because a lot of people were happy to say yes and go on back onto it. Like you've seen a lot of reboots being done, but they never quite get the full cast back because of one reason or another. Sometimes it's conflict. Normally it's conflict, but the only one they couldn't get back was the guy who played the actor who originally played Dewey. But he had good reasons. He was a teacher and he didn't want to be exposed to that.
Yeah, he spent a long time being anonymous again. He got his anonymous and
anonymity.
Yeah, it's a shame that because they recast Dewey, but they've said because he spends a lot of time on a laptop in another room and he's not really there very much.
They've kind of made out that he's some kind of because in the series in the original Malcolm in the Middle, you find out that Dewey's actually as smart as Malcolm is.
Yes, or by this one, you'll see that he's actually smarter.
Yes, and he's going around the country. I think he's doing like a tour.
Piano,
tour,
isn't he?
Piano tour, yeah.
Which the whole premise of this is that Malcolm has got away from his family and kept himself secret from them just enough that they don't ask too many questions.
Yeah.
And that's what's made his life good, is getting away from the family.
Relatable.
And they track him down and find him and bring him back. Whereas Dewey, he's the smarter one. He's done the same, but he didn't get brought back. Do you notice? He wasn't at the reunion party.
Yeah, that's where
and the mum wasn't mad at him. So once again,
but Malcolm was the mum's favourite, don't forget. Lois loved Malcolm, and Lois saw Malcolm as the one who could save the family.
Yeah.
I have to say that as much as I loved everyone's performance and I loved all the different side stories and I loved everything, Bryan Cranston is and will always be an absolute star. Like his reprisal of playing Hal was outstanding. It was like he never left. It was like you felt like you learnt the story from Hal from the final episode of Malcolm in the Middle TV series to this, and the progression onward. And his physicality, his physical comedy is just amazing. He
was great in the original as well.
He was amazing in the original.
Like you say, there's been a 25-year gap here. But you could say that with a lot of them. Like even Reese, like Justin, the actor, he hasn't really acted since then. And he did step back into Reese straight away. Like he sounded exactly the same. All of the cast, you could tell they wanted to come back and they were having fun doing this, which I think helped make it a fun event just to watch. I
have to say, and again, I'm not going to say any spoilers, but I highly encourage people to watch it. If you've got a rainy afternoon and you just want to laugh, especially if you
like the original,
you have to watch it. But you have to you cannot watch just one episode and be like, oh, I'll watch that again tomorrow. You can't. It's a movie. It is a movie. I'm telling you that.
And I would say as well, episode 1 is probably not the shakiest, but it's like episode 1. I was thinking, is this working? But then the second episode 2, and it's like, actually, yeah, it does. It takes a bit for you to
almost
get back
like a movie.
Yeah, it takes
got the momentum
because it's still filmed like a sitcom from 2000. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's a multicam sitcom, so which I enjoyed as well.
It feels like it's not trying to be new or modern. It literally feels like it's scripted the same and acted the same, and even like the CGI when Hal's having a trip.
Yeah, was
CGI from 2004. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I get it. But that part of the series was just brilliant. And we watched it together, and there's a bit right at the end of his trip, and then it gets referenced later on in the episode. I literally cried. I was laughing so much. I thought that was so funny. And just, again, Bryan Cranston, just the way I don't want to spoil it for anyone, but just his gesture after he did it. It was just brilliant. I just loved it. Absolutely loved it. But yeah, no, I agree with you. I think all the actors, the guy who plays Stevie, and like there's a bit when Lois makes a video to commemorate Hal, and it's so funny, so funny.
Cut out his breathing.
But it was so lovely that there were so many actors who came back, and even if it was just a little nod of their history. So like when Francis went to military school, and then you saw
the three guys from
the
his
guys
bits,
from there, and when he worked at the cowboy ranch, you saw a character from there as well, and it was a lovely. It was not. It didn't feel shoehorned. It felt natural that they were there, and it felt like a really beautiful little Easter egg, a little nod to the fans of the show. But if you weren't a fan of the show, it didn't really matter because it kind of just it just was another part of the movie that it should have been.
But there's lot. If you are like a diehard Malcolm Middle fan, I think there is loads there. I mean, I watched it when it originally broadcast, then we rewatched it like 12 years ago.
Well, about 12 years ago, we literally recorded the whole 7 series, and we watched the whole lot in one.
So
month.
like,
It's brilliant.
There's stuff that there's probably references I probably didn't remember, or that I don't know. The camera focused on people at the party, and it's like, well, I don't know who they are, but it doesn't really matter. But if you're like a diehard fan, there's loads there for you to watch out for. But I'd enjoy an actual series.
I don't think it's got the legs for a series. I'll be honest with you. I do think the comedy was funny, but it still felt like some things aged not so well for me. Like, so there were some moments when I was a bit like, that doesn't age. Like, there's a bit, and I know that Malcolm in the Middle is meant to be a bit zany and a bit like, almost like that. It was almost cartoon-like, wasn't it? A lot of people at the time compared it to like it's the live-action version of The Simpsons.
Yeah,
but I don't. Although kind of abstract comedy does work, it felt like in the times they did it in this, it felt a little bit out of place. I think if they were to get rid of the kind of abstract bits, I wouldn't feel so bad. That's not to say that the as I say, the hallucination scene was brilliant, but then that made sense in the context in how Hal had got to that point. While there was a moment when they were in the shop and there was a barber shop quartet, and for me it felt a bit like that
episode 1
weird.
That's what I'm wondering if it's like trying to get your mind back into what TV was like when this first, like, do you know what I mean?
Well, it's the late 90s.
Yeah.
And look,
it's very
it
much
was the Wild West of television in the late 90s.
Like this doesn't feel like it's filmed in 2024. It feels like it was done back then. So that's what I mean. After episode 1, you kind of have to get your head into the mind of what the TV was like back then. So
plus they kind of made Lois and Hal comfortable, which again didn't. If in the UK there's a TV series called Only Fools and Horses, right? And the whole thing was that they were
back
always
in the 80s, everyone.
Back in the 80s and the 90s, and they were scraping by. They're always just, one bill away from basically being homeless and in debt. And then they made them win loads of money. And then the series changed. A bit like Roseanne. Roseanne was no, it's the same. Roseanne was but in the original series Roseanne, it was half the comedy was their struggle, and then when they made them win the lottery, that kind of lost the whole ethos of the show. And I feel like it was a little bit of that. It was fine in this smaller context, but Hal and Lois seem to be comfortable now, and because they're comfortable now, that kind of takes away some of what Malcolm Middle was about. But like you say, it could easily be a spin-off with Malcolm's daughter. And I loved the actress who played Malcolm's partner as well. I thought she was brilliant too. I really loved her. So, I mean, they could easily do... The other thing is, I think they'd have a hard time getting Bryan Cranston and Jane, who plays Lois, to come back full-time.
Well, this was Brian's idea. He's been kept pushing for it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay, well, maybe I stand corrected then. But if they were to do a full series, I think they would have to move away from the direction of it being about the mum and dad. And
they would probably be guest stars if they did a series. I think.
Yeah.
But then there's so many characters, like 6 brothers and sisters now. So it's like, is there time in a series for all? There's not, is there? Because the two. One of them was the Jamie, who was the baby at the end of the series. He was kind of not really there either.
That was weird. It was like they kind of remembered he was there last minute, and they quickly shoehorned. Did you not feel that though? Like he had absolutely no involvement whatsoever.
No, I mean, it makes sense. Weird. That's what I mean. There was so much to sort of lay down in episode 1 that it kind of, and there's only 4 episodes. It kind of makes sense that not everyone's going to get their time, but. Yeah. We'll see. There could be more. Who knows?
Well, I enjoyed it, and I highly recommend people watch it.
It's just fun.
Yeah, it's just fun. That's all you need in this
all you
world. You just
want.
need a bit of fun. But I would highly recommend you watch it as it should have been a film. It should have been a film.
Or just binge it and it is a film. That's how I watch Avatar 2.
No, I need someone to.
I watched it in 8
No, you watched it the other way
sessions.
around. So you watched Avatar 2 like a TV series, which even then I can stomach it.
Still haven't seen the third
But yes,
one.
very, very good. Very good.
Lovely. Right. So that's all we got to talk about this week then.
We've
So
got lots next week, haven't we? Lots of new shows coming out
so
next
many
week as well.
shows. Yeah. This April is stacked. We even had to cut one from this week. So if you've watched any of these shows or you've got any suggestions for us, then you can get in touch.
You can by going to our link tree, linktr.ee/faithful2, where you can find all the links to our videos, our podcasts, and ways you can find us on social media. If you are watching us in video form on YouTube or Spotify, you can comment underneath the video. Don't forget, like, subscribe, follow us, tell your friends, and do the same if you're listening to us on any of your favorite podcast apps. And if you want to follow us, you can find us on Instagram and TikTok. And if you like the podcast and you'd like to help us monetarily, you can go to buymeacoffee.com/faithful, and on there you can give us a £5 monthly or one-off donation. I am going to drop this in. It's my birthday on Sunday.
Is it?
Just saying. I'm just saying.
So next week's podcast. Right.
Yes, so next week's podcast will be me wearing a party hat, blowing a toot horn.
Lovely. Well, I can't wait to see it. Until
I can't
then,
wait to see my present.
I've not ordered it yet. We will see you soon. Goodbye.